What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to panic? I think I said that, right? Okay. So what do? We don't panic. And the reason I said that is because the story, you need to understand the story. What was the story all along in the market? The story all along in the market is we want rate cuts and we don't want inflation. And there is no inflation coming up. Therefore, we're going to have our rate cuts, right? And then what happened, really? What really happened is we had inflation kind of going sideways, and we had the Fed kind of hinting a couple of weeks ago that they may not keep on doing it, and he wasn't guaranteed. He made a comment in a very in a specific form, and the market took a little bit of a drop, and then it recovered when we saw some inflation in the right direction, right? So this is a story. And then of course a couple of days ago, or actually yesterday or the day before, he said not 4 cuts but 2 cuts, and that was it. That's it. It's over. Inflation is back. We're crashing. Listen, you need to understand that this market is driven by emotion. This market is a child. Of course, child with a lot of power, and you have to be very careful because you need to know the kind of story to put the baby to sleep. So you need to really understand what it is that's going on. And what went on is it just said 4 and then 2, and then that was it. And but guess what happened today? And I will explain to you later on what my thinking was and what I did. But right now, guess what? Inflation numbers coming out from the PCE are from zero point 0.3 previous to zero point 0.2 expected to zero point 0.1 actual. Oh, so we may not have an inflation problem after all. Of course we don't. Okay? Well, be careful. When I say we don't have an inflation problem, I don't mean to say that things are not more expensive. As usual, and unfortunately, there is inflation in real life, but we're not in real life here. This is not real life. We're not making anything. We're not building anything. We're just talking. We're just thinking. We're just imagining. So you need to be in that mode that we have to understand what these people are really saying and what they think is happening. Now, when yesterday, when you saw him saying from 4 to 2, okay, the market collapsed, you buy when everybody else is selling. That is how you make money. You make money when everybody's selling. Of course, you got to buy the right things, and frankly, uh, Tesla, really? I mean, Tesla is fantastic. This is a $2 trillion company. This is a $600 stock. Nvidia making money. All these top guys are making money. Okay. It's just that you have to decide where it is that the market is going to be focusing on. So when you see 1,000-point drop, then you buy. You don't buy when everybody else is buying. You buy when everybody else is selling. But of course, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're buying. Okay, that's why you should kind of listen to what I say once in a while so that you could benefit from it. There are no formula in the market that's going to tell you what to do, when to do it, and why to do it. I mean, there is one, but it's too complex to explain, and it's done with the hedge funds, and we don't have that kind of capabilities. But you have the ability to kind of read the market because it's really an emotional thing, right? Because all he said is what? We're going to go from 4 to 2. We're still going to, and he still cut rates yesterday, a quarter basis points. He did it. It's not like he didn't do anything. Tesla is still making cars. We still have the Trump trade. We're still going to have lots of things happening with Tesla as far as, the regulation and all that. So it's happening. Uh, Nvidia is making money. The only issue that you're having right now for the small stocks is that they're not really paying attention to small stocks. You have a company like GCT that is not doing well. I mean, not doing well in terms of the stock price because the market is not really focusing on small caps. But wait until it starts doing it. Now, the thing you need to understand is there are lots of play in this market that you're not really privy to. The flows of fun and who's buying and who's selling and why. They're taking position. It's too complex to comprehend the whole thing. It's like saying, I am going to predict the weather in the winter and I'm going to tell you it's going to be cold. But now I want to know what temperature is going to be on Monday morning, December 31st. That is tough to do. Now, could you have predicted that he was going to say 4 versus 2? I mean, 2 versus 4 in terms of cuts? How could you predict something like that? Although we are working on projects that do that with my students. We're working on detecting what the Fed is going to say based on what is had said in the past. But apart from that, it is a very difficult thing to know. You don't know what he's going to say. Maybe he would have said 3 instead of 4 or 1. Imagine what it comes down to. But the point at the end of the day, you have to realize what's really happening. And what is really happening is, I mean, inflation is under control. Okay, it's not out of control based on the numbers that we're seeing. Okay, uh, unemployment is kind of inching its way up. And if you know anything about the Fed also has a mandate to monitor and to take care of unemployment as well. They have a dual mandate here. So when you have the inflation number that is dropping as per today and the unemployment that's kind of inching up, chances are they are going to lower the rates, right? If you fall for it and you sold when everybody was selling, well, that was a mistake. Unless you were cashing in, I could understand that. So that's what's happening. So let's see what's happening right now. I'm talking about a bunch of things. I want to make sure you understand what I'm referring to. And specifically, let me show you what um, I'm talking about the coup, right? I was referring to this today, this morning, okay? The PC at 2.4, below the estimates of 2.5. Okay, I mean, imagine the Dow is up, everybody's up. Wall Street mainly jump trading. I mean, that's so easy to jump after the fact but you make money before. You don't make money after the fact. Treasury yield retreated. Latest data show the personal consumption expenditure, which is better known as the PCE, that's what the Fed is really looking at, rose in November below the estimate is 2.5. I mean, it's still going up. I mean, we're not decreasing, we don't have deflation, but it's under control. The Fed preferred inflation gauge. You see, the Fed preferred inflation gauge came in lower than expected, which may take some of the sting out of the market disappointment of yesterday, a little bit of this thing. Longer term, the Fed is still facing policy uncertainty from the incoming White House. What they mean by that is, well, are they going to do the tariffs? Are they going to do the tariffs? Right? Because if you raise tariffs, then it's going to impact the Fed and it's going to bring prices up. But do you really believe that Mexico or Canada want to fight with the US? But because essentially what we're talking about is that if we're raising our tariffs, right, they're going to say, oh, that's how it is. Then, you know what? We're going to raise our prices too, then. Do you really want to pick a fight with Trump? Do you really want to pick a fight with the largest um, economy in the world? No, what you're going to do is you're going to negotiate, right? You're going to have to negotiate. You have no choice, and he knows that. Okay. Now, of course, there's a chance that they say no, because from political reason they don't want to appear to catering to Trump and this and that. So there's always a chance. But at the end of the day, uh, uh, either they're going to bring some plants over here. They're going to say, you know what? Okay, fine. Instead of we're going to build a plant in the U.S., right? But in the meantime, don't put tariffs on. Okay, say fine, as long as you have a plan. I mean, who knows what he's going to do, right? But they're negotiating, and you're not going to know. And frankly, as a good negotiator, you never tell them what you're going to do. Okay, so let's go back to the videotape and see what is happening in the market as we speak. Okay, do you see this? This is what we're following. We're following VMC. We put some trade on VMC, Vulcan material. Great. In fact, the acquisition recently. Great stock, meaning great company, great positioning in the market. VMC is really VMC is a play on infrastructure. It's the largest play. Now, of course, Trump hasn't really been speaking too much about infrastructure, but when he does, that's going to be the time. And that stock is down a lot. Oh, it's up 1.69%, as you just saw it drop. GCT is a play on small caps, not doing well, but then again, nobody's looking at them right now. QQ, obviously, it's NASDAQ. SPY is Standard and Poor. And of course, Tesla because of the Trump trade. Okay. And we are up a lot. Where's Tesla right now? Let me show you. Okay. I mean, you should buy Tesla anytime there's a dip like that. This is a $600 stock. Okay. Look, we're up 1.35%, 1.37% today. Okay. Wait until Monday and wait until next week because now the mood is changing. Now, what could change the market's mood? Well, obviously, if there are earnings released next week having to do with the PC and with inflation, which I don't believe there is. Okay, so next week is going to be smooth sailing. Okay, don't forget if you look at Tesla right now, right at $442. I mean, think at I mean, look, we were almost at $500. We lost 60 points. We lost 60 points for what? For something that may not be. We lost 60 points. And I mean, it's a real 60. We lost really 60 points, $60 from the stock. But the reason you lost it is because the two versus the four. And yet today we realize. So how long do you think people are going to realize, hey, listen, this is still the same company? Okay. This is still the same company. This is probably a fantastic buy right now. Don't forget, upgrading at 415, 515, 480, reiterated December 18th. Then when was that? Today is, that was 2 days ago. Okay. There's some news about magnificent Trump China tariffs could put Netflix, Tesla at risk. Of course, it's Tesla recall surge. Tesla faced declining market share in Europe amid a rising competition. What's interesting is whenever the stock is not doing well, all the bears are coming out and say, "Well, you know what? Maybe you know what? Maybe we may have a problem with Tesla." Well, you know they have recalls and maybe with maybe. Okay, they just want a reason. Unfortunately, they want a reason to bring Tesla down. Okay, why? Well, because of the situation with Trump. You know, he's way, way, way too close with Trump. Okay. What else is going on? What else is going on? Let us take a look at VMC. Okay. VMC also took a bit of a hit as well, but that's understandable because of what happened. Because, you know, one thing I should mention to you, which is important, is statistically speaking, um, you know, whenever you want to predict something, predict an event, like predict a flipping of the coin, right? You say, well, there is a 50% chance that I get a coin toss between the tail and the heads. Now, the reason you could say 50-50 is because statistically speaking, you assume that one coin of the course has nothing to do with the other coin toss, right? The way you spin one doesn't impact the next one. And it's the same thing with the stock market, that whatever impacts one stock really has nothing to do with the other stock. But unfortunately, as you could see yesterday, when we lost 1,000, everybody lost 1,000. I think 90% of the stock market was down. So how can you possibly statistically analyze anything if all those events are interconnected. It's impossible to predict anything, because if you know that, this coin is going to go this way and that coin is going to go this way, that's okay, as long as it doesn't impact. It's like the spinning of the wheel in a casino. You assume that, well, the way the guy, the croupier, spins the wheel, and one spin doesn't impact the other. Really? In 2008, they assumed that someone that wouldn't pay his or her mortgage in New York would not impact somebody impacting his mortgage or her mortgage in California, but yet it did. Right. So all events, and this is basically chaos theory, which becomes make it very difficult to predict anything statistically. But you can predict event based on your understanding of the mood, the understanding of the story. You know, right now we have people analyzing what people are saying, and whatever they're saying and how it impacts what they're going to be saying next. No numbers involved here, no numbers whatsoever. So let us take a look at VMC again and see, what's so bad about this name? And it going anywhere. Okay. Now I will say, if you look at VMC, it's up 1.78% today alone. Now, where has this name been? Right? What? Well, you know what? It was up to $277 not too long ago. And what was it before? Well, it's been. Let me show you why I believe this name is a infrastructure play. You see what the name has been doing? It was as low as $240, and it went up and up and up and up and up to November 6th. Why? Because everyone thought that Biden was going to win and Biden was going to spend a lot of money in infrastructure. He said it. Now, when Trump came in, they said, well, I guess not. Or maybe, who knows? I don't know, right? So right here, if you could see what's going on here, right? You could see this was the Trump expect the nation, and then question around Trump straight down, and then maybe not, and then of course, you know what? Now, of course, the further this name drops, the more it is a buy. Why? Because this is a infrastructure play. I mean, the P ratio is pretty high. Although when you look at I can't highlight the picture, but if you look at here, you see the you see here, right here, you see P forward ratio of 29. That means that based on the current stock price and the forward expected earnings, look, this is earnings 6.35. We believe the earnings per share. It's going to go from 6 to 9. So we're going from 41 to 30. This is a buy. This is a stock that's going, well, let's put it this way, it's going to make more money next year. Okay. Um, and yet, when you look at the beta to the right, it's 83. Doesn't seem to be following the market, right? It's not okay. Now, of course, this is a $35 billion cap, so it is not a small cap. It's kind of something in the middle. Now we have buy here on November 7 at 340, but there's not much follow up on this name. Now, having said that, you could see December 11, Vulcan to acquire leading building materials company in Southern California. The name is moving. The name is doing acquisition. Why is Vulcan up for six? All right, the stock has been up a lot, but now, of course, it's on the way down because there's some question. So we are buying here the infrastructure. What we're doing here, we're buying the infrastructure. Now, what do we have? We should take a look, actually, at GC. GC is an old suffering friend, right? And you could see that it's been. I think it's $17 a share, $18. Now we've been here before. Remember, this name. Look how the name trades. The further it gets away from the 52 moving average, expect a jump up to 39. Why do I say that? Well, because look, well, that's too fair. Well, I mean, this was a $40, $45 stock at one point. In fact, it was much before. The thing is that it is not being recognized as a small cap. That's a small cap, by the way. Okay, so that's your small cap play. Look, we go above, we go below, right? But eventually we go back up. We go below, and right now we're really stepping down. We're really stepping down, waiting for an uphill. Why? Well, I mean, look at the P ratio, 4. Very, very cheap. December 17. Is most watched stock good guy worth betting on now? Obviously, because 7 a.m. secures multiple win. The company secures multiple win in furniture today's reading. Okay. The companies, these are great companies. It's a good investment. I mean, it's just Zacks, but I mean, they pick it up mostly. So you see, it's important to know the environment you're in. It's important to understand what you're buying. But then you have to make sure you observe, right? The idea that you go in when no one else is there. And then you just wait. Wait. That is the way to be. So don't panic.